Michael Knight sighted. Attack mode engaged.
Oh, not that attack mode. So Killer KITT is actually one of my favorite episodes, not just of the 4th season, but of the entire series, believe it or not. To me, this is the last great episode of the show, as the remaining ones that we've yet to cover never quite live up to the excitement. So, in honor of that, I've got a very special commentary for you today. Lots of then and now filming locations, as well as a special exclusive treat. Set blueprints from this very episode that you'll love that I don't think you've ever seen before. Not to mention our always flavorful commentary. So, it's time to change your tone, engage your attack mode, and turn evil on all of your friends, because we are digging into Killer KITT.
And on Knight Rider,
I can't stop him.
KITT's lost his mind, and Michael's his target. Knight Rider at a new time.
Production 60226, Killer KITT. This episode was written by Simon Rose and directed by Chuck Bale. It originally aired on NBC January 10th, 1986. That was a Friday at 8 p.m. on NBC. It originally was filmed October 30th through November 7th of 1985. It was the 75th episode to air and the 75th episode to be produced. The synopsis reads as follows. KITT is reprogrammed by a vengeful ex-Foundation employee to kill everyone in sight, including Michael Knight. Hey, that rhymed. All right, let's dig in. After a fantastic montage of the flag semi, we come to see Bonnie inside of KITT doing some modifications, some updates. And what do we see here? Well, this is the hero car, of course. And a couple things to note. First of all, the hero car was the only car to actually have the light up gull wing steering wheel. There was one on the insert dash that sat on a soundstage. This was the only one to have the light up steering wheel. We can see that the lights are not currently on in the grip right here. You see how it's green right there. But this cap on the end flips up, and there was actually a red trigger under there, a red light that we never ever see on the show. But we know we've seen some of Michael Chaffee's original concept designs that include a flip up with a trigger on there. They never utilized it on the show though, but you can see it popped up right there. Also something to note, the TV screen. So we talked about this way back at the beginning of season 3 when they first introduced this new dashboard, but back then there was actually a working CRT in the TV. In fact, in the episode Night in Disgrace, we see it working. We see Devin on the screen. But quickly after that point, that screen was removed and it was replaced by this light gray, almost piece of cardboard, right? So the screen no longer works, and this was just kind of put in there as a filler. But this is probably the best view you ever get of that fake screen. So Michael wears this red and black plaid shirt, and what's interesting to note is he wears this shirt the entire episode from beginning to end, which is a rarity. This might be the only episode where he wears the exact same outfit the entire day. And if you follow the episode, it actually takes place over the course of 2 days. Right, so we have KITT getting stolen, this whole thing, and then at the nighttime is when he goes to Barrio's place, uncovers the plans for the convention center, and then the following day is when that all happens and Michael stops it. So really, this whole episode takes place over the course of 2 days, but Michael wears the same clothes, which I guess is normal, right? I mean, he had he was worried about KITT, and there were all these things going on. He wasn't going to take the time to stop and sleep. He was just trying to get KITT back and get Barrio arrested. So again, rare episode, same outfit the entire way through. And this is the first appearance of RC's motorbike. We see it again in Night of a Thousand Devils, and then of course in Voodoo Night whenever it's destroyed in the building collapse. But yeah, first appearance of his motorbike here, and Devin and Bonnie take great pleasure in knocking it. That's for sure. We do have some behind-the-scenes notes on this episode. So NBC said at the time, after they reviewed the raw footage, they said it's a very straightforward and predictable episode. A good rough cut was screened on December 4th of 85. This episode is well-paced and good fun, and I agree with that. All right, so here's our first filming location of the episode that at least we're going to cover. So this is where the semi, obviously Michael and KITT exit the semi, and then they get ambushed by the rocket launchers. This is on Westward Beach Road. In fact, if we look here, you can see the lifeguard tower right there, and I believe this is the exact same lifeguard tower. So this is the same location that we saw at the end of Scent of Roses when, Michael is at the beach and he goes up to KITT and said, "We're going home to the Foundation." They drive off. This is the same location. I think it was a little further down this road where that took place. But yeah, this is where that scene happened. All right, next up, Michael and KITT are chasing the car. The getaway car zooms around this truck. Maybe an Easter egg, maybe just a coincidence. The truck says Shatner Trucking, which is from the third season episode 10 Wheel Trouble, right? And this probably isn't the best screenshot, but the truck is pulling out of an intersection, and that's right here. So their truck is coming out right here, and the car is coming through right here. And actually, the area right around this bend here is where KITT exited the semi and the ambush happened. So actually this is, in reality, this is all within a reasonable distance of each other. So that's always nice to have that continuity. All right, and next up, he leads them to the pier. This is Malibu Pier, right? We can see Barrio's bus here park off to the side, and he drives in and actually onto the pier. Here's what it looks like today. You can't drive, I don't think you can drive onto the pier anymore. I don't know if you could back then, maybe they just did it for the show, but Barrio's bus was parked right here in this location, but otherwise you can see it's pretty much exactly the way it was back then. I visited here back when we were filming Jay Leno's Garage in 2018. We went and took an excursion here, which was kind of cool to see. All right, so here's still the pier from a different angle, and a couple things to note. First of all, you see how this sign says Alice's. This is not the name of this actual restaurant. This was added by the production crew. And we're going to pause here in a minute, and I'm going to show you some blueprints I have. One of the blueprints is of that Alice's sign, which is really cool. So keep that in mind. Two other things to note. First of all, you see this Jack in the Box in the episode. That Jack in the Box is still there today. And this over here is the Malibu Inn. Let's see if the Malibu Inn is still there. I don't even know if it is. Is it going to let me go back? All the buildings there. This was the Malibu Inn right there. But you can see if we come over here, there's the Jack in the Box still there after 40 years, nearly 40 years. That's incredible. And Michael's chasing the guys here. And I don't know if you ever noticed in the background here, this guy raises his arms and takes a picture. So I don't know if this was just a fan, like a background extra that took a picture, or if or what was happening there. But I was, wonder where that picture is today. Does he still have it? We're going to have to find that guy. All right, so we have a special treat for you today with the Killer KITT commentary. We actually own some original set blueprints from this episode that I had to pause and just show them to you because they're really, really cool. All right, so what do we have here first? So some bowls here to hold them open. All right, so first, what you see here is Marco Berrio's bus. Interior shots, so it's dated, let's see, what's the date on here? October 25th, 1985. Set decorator, Arlen Smart. Interior, does it say laboratory, I think. So, look, floor access, open shelf cabinets. And if you watch the show, they actually built this set in, they might have had two sets, one on a stage, but they actually had one in the trailer, you can see, which is kind of neat, which we'll cover here in this video. All right, so we've got that one. So let's roll that one up. There's more. Let's see here. Let me set that one aside. So what do we have here? Oh, so this is the breakaway doors at the hotel. So you can see here, we've got October 30th, 85. These are the breakaway doors. So when KITT crashes through the convention center doors, that's what they're talking about here. So it gives all the measurements, candy glass it says, so they can bust through it. All right, put that one. Let's move that aside. All right, so now we've got this is the sign. So Alice's. So when they're filming at the Malibu Pier at the beginning of the episode, you can see there's this Alice's sign, which was not the original name of that restaurant. This was actually, I forget, maybe just the Malibu Pier restaurant. I don't know off the top of my head. But you can see they built this Alice's sign. Gives all the information to the size, 16 feet long. What's that say? 2.5 feet tall. October 30th, 1985. All right, so this one is actually not Killer KITT. This is from Night in Retreat. This is a guardhouse for a scene that they actually didn't film. Let's move that off to the side. Oh, and this is, you're getting some bonuses here. This is actually not from Killer KITT either. This is the Race for Life Hospital. Which was actually a standing set on Universal Studios on stage 25, but this is the original blueprint for it. They used that hospital set for a number of different shows, so that's why they kind of kept the set standing. You know, it wasn't built just for Knight Rider. All right, so let's move that one off, and that's a big one. One day I really would love to get these framed and hung on the wall. I think that'd be really, really cool. You can see they're a little hard to manage here with them rolling up. All right, so this is the, what's this? Killer KITT, October 30th, 85, Make 4. I think this is the part of the TV station that they had in the episode when they were filming at the convention center. They were filming Dr. William Albert and Devin accepting his award, and there was a TV station there. I think that's what that is from. Oh, and then of course we've got, this is the sign, the electronics exposition sign that was on the podium that Devin was speaking from. So you can see here, black background, white background, masonite board for strength, foam core boards mounted on masonite, or foam core letters cut out and glued on, white background. So 3-inch high letters, red copy, letter typeface, data 70. So there you go. We want to recreate that sign. We can recreate that sign exactly. All right, what else do we have in here? Oh, so this is so in the episode you see a camera guy, a newscaster, cameraman, and he's holding a camera. You don't actually see the side of it, but that's the design for it. And you can tell by the back it's the same style camera, but you don't see the logo on it, I don't think. Only because you don't see that angle. Trying to see what this is. This one actually is a zoomed in extract of another one, so we don't see what episode this is from. All right, so let's skip that. So here we have, this is another one of the exposition signs. This is not the one that was in front of Devin's podium, but this is one you see in the background, and you can see they even did some color tests here of the different blues and different reds. Let's see, what else do we have? This is a duplicate one of that Make 4. This is a photocopy of that one. There's the full-size Electronics Exposition board. So I think on the episode you have this sign, then I think it lights up, but it's made of plexi here. Are there any others from Killer KITT? Yeah, there's another version of the sign right there, the Electronics Exposition. And another side view of Marco Berrio's bust right there. So pretty neat, huh? I found these at auction years and years and years ago. What's this one? And there's one more of Alice's with some notes on it where they decided not to use this version, I guess. But so there you go. Pretty neat piece of Knight Rider history. The blueprints from Killer KITT. All right, so now we have Bronwyn Appleby, disguised as Bonnie, and her last name Appleby is never spoken in the episode, but it's in the script. Bronwyn Appleby, pretending to be Bonnie. She's got this mic on here that makes her voice sound like Bonnie. She's got the new CPU chip and a card that she is reading. It's a script she's reading. Now keep that in mind because we're going to talk about that here in a minute. Also in the background, I think those are the tops of some of the Universal Studios crew trucks right there, the Comtron trucks, possibly. All right, and this is, I think, the last time in the series we see KITT's CPU access port, and the only time we see Bonnie using it. You can see it's a female's hand. But anyways, this, as you may recall, this is the same circuit board that they had in KITT's CPU in Soul Survivor, the portable CPU, and they just cut it down and put it in here, so it was reused. So any of you hoping to find KITT's original screen-used CPU device, know that it was taken apart and repurposed at some point later in the series. All right, so here, they're blurry. Michael just runs past them. These are definitely the Universal Studios crew tractor trailers, the Comtron trucks there in the background. All right, so take a look at this. So obviously this is Patricia McPherson pulling a prosthetic skin off of her neck, right? But take a look at this. Remember how we were talking about the CPU board and the card and everything that she had in her hands? Well, take a look at this. You see just the corner of the card here. And if we zoom or go to the next screenshot, you can see our channel happened, I help, it'll impact. This is actually the text that she says whenever KITT lets her in. She said something like, "We've been monitoring our channel to see what happened. I have brought you a new CPU, I can help, whatever. It'll only take a moment to install," something like that. And then what's interesting is KITT says, "Is there anything I should tell Michael?" And Bronwyn, as Bonnie, says, "There's no need. There's no way he can overlook its impact on you." And what's interesting is the word impact is on here, but you wouldn't think that that line would have been scripted, right? Because she wouldn't know that KITT would ask him that. And obviously by her tone, that was an off-the-cuff kind of evil remark to make. Yet she had it scripted on her card. So clearly it was a card specifically for Patricia McPherson for her lines. But I thought that was interesting. Neat little Easter egg there. All right, so now we are at the Hotel Convention Center, and KITT's pulling into the semi here. This was, at the time, the Sheraton at City of Industry, California. It's now, what's it called? The Pacific Palms Hotel. But you can see it's still pretty much the same. So the semi was parked over here in these spots right here. And this is the door that KITT, one of these doors, I think it's this one, the one that KITT crashed through. But you can actually see the lobby. There's a street view of the lobby, which is really cool. So I don't think these barriers weren't here back in '85, but KITT crashed through this door here and drove in, hit the brakes, and then I believe Devon's podium was over here. But we'll review that part when we get to that part of the episode. But yeah, Pacific Palms and City of Industry. All right, so Marco Berrio's mobile bus. Let's talk about it. Don't really know where it came from. It was obviously rented for this episode, I would say. But it originally was a late 50s Crown mobile post office bus. And it obviously exceeded its usefulness in that category and then became a TV prop. But here's what those mobile post office buses actually looked like. So you can definitely see the resemblance that really all they did was paint it and add these satellite dishes on the roof. But there you go. It's actually a mobile post office, not a mobile evil lair. All right, so here's the first time, well, not the first time, the second time we see the actual actress that played Bronwyn, Andrea Howard. And here's Marco Berrio, played by Harvey Jason. We talked to Harvey a number of years ago, and he told us an interesting story. So if you notice, in most of the episode, he's seen sitting down at his computer console. And the reason he's doing that is because he was actually in pain. He said, I remember just prior to us shooting the show, my back had gone out and I was in pain. I could hardly walk. So that explains why most of this episode is him just sitting. All right, so his lair here that you see is supposed to be inside the bus. And we'll see here in a little bit that it actually was inside the bus. At least some of the time was in the bus. I think they also had a soundstage version of it just because of the angles they were shooting at. But you'll see that they actually did have this in the bus itself. But these consoles are all from Modern Props, where you'd guess that they would be from. And we've seen this console in a ton of different Knight Rider episodes right back there. I think we just saw it in The Wrong Crowd, and we saw it in Night Sting and a number of other episodes. All right, so take a look at this. I always enjoy comparing, KITT's maps to what was actually taking place in the episode. So according to this, KITT says that Farrell's place is down here a few miles away, something like that. All right, so if we look at this map, this is in Los Angeles, so that's good. This is, I think, Olympic Boulevard. This is Olympic Boulevard. This is a different one. Anyways, I was able to match street names and figure it out. So according to KITT, Farrell's place is right here, Pico Boulevard. That's it. All right, and this is clearly not what we see in the episode, right, where KITT's ambushed at Farrell's place. So just out of curiosity, let's go over here. So right now we are, in this area. So now let's put in how far it actually is to Farrell's place, his real place. 43 minutes. Look at that. So we are, maybe KITT's because he's now kind of evil, so maybe he's just leading him on a wild goose chase. But clearly this is a situation where the map doesn't equate to the actual real life filming location, which is pretty much all of the time. All right, so Michael and KITT arrive at Farrell's place, Park Ridge Apartments, which we can see in the background, and here they are today. In fact, if you look, see this staircase right here, that is this staircase right here, and it is actually the Park Ridge Apartments, I believe. So that's a legit name, which is kind of neat. All right, so the next question. Is this one of the Thunderbirds from Night of the Drones? The ones that we've seen repeated again in Night Song, in, what other ones did we see? Night Song, Night Racer. And the answer is I don't know for sure, but my guess is probably yes. I would say it is. They probably had a handful of these Thunderbirds. Obviously, it's painted differently. The chrome was painted red. And you can see here the Thunderbird logo was painted red. This was all blacked out. In fact, if you look closely, it looks like they didn't even black out this marker light. They just painted over it. So, and it does have a red interior like the drone car. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say, yes, this is probably one of the drone cars yet again. All right, so Michael leaps over the side of this Chevy Caprice. But take a look at that fender. See how it's a different color? You can tell it's going to get hit. So my guess is they did this once and it didn't turn out how they wanted, so they had to quickly put another fender on, spray it green, and when they did that, it was more of a shiny green than a matte green, and that's why it looks a little different right there. That'd be my guess. All right, so now we've got the left-hand blind drive car back here coming at them, pulls in, hits them, and they drive off. The car's wearing the rubber shell, as you can see. It looks like the trunk might even be open. And if we look underneath here, you can see the cord that's holding the two back ends of the rubber shell, tight against the car. Looks like there's some damage to that bumper too, right there. You see how it's all scuffed up? So there were 7 Trans Ams used for the filming of this episode. So of course we have the left-hand blind drive car here, the season 3 and 4 hero car here. We've got the right-hand blind drive car, the hardtop stunt car, same one we've had since season 1. The general purpose T-top stunt car that's been around since the beginning of season 3. The season 4 insert car. And finally, the full-time Super Pursuit Mode car. There are your 7 Trans Ams used in this episode. All right, I've had people ask me in the past about this wall hanging right here. This is one of Michael Chaffee's concept drawings for the redesign of KITT's dashboard in season 3. He was brought in, as you know, Michael Chaffee not only designed but was part of a team that built the original kit for the show. When the producers were looking to redesign the inside of the car, Chaffee was brought in to sketch out the designs. He didn't build them, but he was brought in to sketch them out. And this is one of his sketches of the dashboard. And if you look very, very closely, there's 2 other sketches you'll see hanging on the wall in Barrio's bus that are also Chaffee sketches of KITT. And we'll cover them as we continue. All right, and we have Anne Ramsey here, right, making her one and only appearance in the show. She is the wife, or was the wife of Logan Ramsey, who appeared in No Big Thing and Night Strike. And of course, we all know Anne Ramsey as Mama Fratelli from the Goonies, right? And Don't Throw Mama from the Train. This was filmed at the intersection of Hazlet and Magnolia, I think in Sherman Oaks. So you see this church in the background here. There, it still stands today. So KITT was parked right here in this spot. All right, so moving on, we see the payphone here that Michael is going. He's going to call Bonnie to see what's happening. And this is kind of interesting. So do you see... So it's obviously a brick building and then some windows over here. So you see this pipe right here, this pipe that goes up, makes a hard right, and just kind of dangles right there. Take a look at this. That pipe is still there today, right there. So the phone was right about here. And actually, are there any remnants? See, there's some defects here in the brick. So the phone was right there a long time ago, and those windows right there, the Sherman Oaks Dental Arts, it looks like, is what this is today. So then if we move forward, we see the back view, and we see this building, we see this 3 stairs with some concrete walls beside them. So if we turn around, there they are. So that's interesting, because... I wonder how they filmed this, because if you think about it, the phone booth would have been up against this brick wall, but here they have a camera behind it. So, but it's in the same location, right? Yeah, so they must have taken a phone booth and another phone booth and brought it out into the street or into the sidewalk a little bit so they could get a camera angle behind him. And then, of course, we see this angle. Michael's looking back at KITT with the crossing guard there. And you can see the corner of this building here. And there it is there. So all matches up. All was filmed in this at this one intersection. So I thought this was interesting. This is the only time we see KITT's auto roof open the opposite direction, right? Normally it opens, it's hinged in the center. Here it's hinged on the outside. Just interesting. I wonder how, I'm not sure how they did that. They must have had a rod in here or something. Or maybe they just had the locks for the T-tops engaged and then didn't put this edge of the glass underneath the lip over here. I don't know. Still cool though. All right, so Michael and KITT now take off. KITT's fully evil. If you look in the background here, you can see a policeman is holding traffic while they film this scene. Notice there's no cars here, but there's a whole bunch of cars back here. He's holding traffic so they can film it. And this white Camaro appears a few times in this episode, so I think this might have been a production vehicle or background vehicle. And of course, we have KITT's magic sunroof, right? For season 4, the sunroof just slides. You press a button and it slides open, and then we cut to this, and of course, it's completely gone. Once again, we have Matt McComb, Hasselhoff's stuntman here, doing a jump out of the the right-hand blind drive car kit. The right-hand blind drive car gets a lot of use in this episode. If you think about it, it makes sense because most of the episode is KITT driving by himself. And after Michael bails out, Michael could really use the help of the Foundation at this point, but they're so far away, aren't they? Well, no, they're not. There's the semi parked right there, right in the background. And there's another Ford Thunderbird. Maybe that's another drone car. I don't know. And here's a Comtron truck. And here's another Comtron truck. Crew trailers. This is just a packed full screenshot, isn't it? So take a look at this. So KITT's turning around, getting ready to attack Michael. And look in the background here, right between these two trucks. And you see this guy jump out. I think this is probably a crew member, right? And he didn't think he was in the frame. And he heard KITT spin around. He jumped out to watch, but he got caught. All right, so we talked about this in the Center Roses commentary that we just did, but the right-hand blind drive car, one of the 5 that still exists, when it had its right-hand blind drive apparatus, there were throttle and brake pedals on the passenger side. When the stuntman hit the brake pedal here, there were actually cables that ran out in front of the car and over and connected to the factory brake pedals and engaged them. And I showed you the cables in the last video, but here you can see them hanging down right here as well. And this is also one of only 2 cars at this point in the series that still have the season 2 and 3 style front nose, as you can see. All the other ones have been upgraded. But this car would keep this front nose until the end of the series. Although, interestingly enough, this car today does not have this nose on it. It has a different front nose on it, which makes me think that this front nose was taken off of this car before it was acquired in 1987 by the person who kind of rebuilt them. Maybe this is the Hoff nose that we have, the one that was mounted on the wooden board and gifted to Hasselhoff that we purchased in 2014. I don't know. I like all these people in the background just casually watching a driverless car hit a guy and then do 360s in the road while he's hanging on the hood. They don't seem to care, right? They're just checking it out. There's a good close-up of Matt McComb hanging onto the hood right before he gets smashed into the guard shack here, this guard shack. So a couple things to note on this screen. First of all, it's always cool to see a 3rd-gen Trans Am in the background right there, a stock one. Hard to tell. Obviously, it's like a cream color, or maybe it's a white. I don't think this is an 83 Daytona edition. It almost looks like a cream-colored 84 would be my guess. Hard to tell. But this shack is on what is currently Sherman Oaks like ball field. So let's take a look at that. All right, so this building right here, this apartment complex is this building right here. Okay, so to put it in perspective. So if we turn around, well here, and let's see here. Yeah, we're off at an angle a little bit, so we should probably come down just a hair. And so right here, let's move down just a tiny bit more. So that shack would have been out in this area. Because if we come back here, yeah, we can see that he just jumped the curb and drove straight down. At this point, there were no trees or anything. If we look over here, it looks like the curb and then there's a road in here. So we can use that as a... So that's this right here. That's that road. So yeah, so KITT drove in and the shack was like right about here when they built it just specifically to destroy it. All right, so Jack Gill has this to say about this scene. This was a scene that I did second unit on and was also blind driving the car. I had Matt McComb doubling up for Hasselhoff on the hood of the car, and he's not cabled in because I had to bring him in fast, jump the curb, then go right into the building with him, then have him fall off. Spike Silver is in the shirt and apron right in front of the snack building. That's this guy, Spike Silver. We did a bunch of shots inside the car looking at David from the hood. We had David cabled to the hood so he couldn't really go anywhere. So you notice this scene, there are a couple times when it is Hasselhoff, but most of the time it's Matt McComb. So I want to back up for a minute because I forgot to cover one interesting thing. So you remember this scene where the Feral ambushes Michael, KITT saves him. Michael gets back in KITT, and then Hasselhoff says a line.
How'd you know those two were coming anyway?
Does that mean you suspect me?
Okay, so the reason this doesn't make sense is because Hasselhoff accidentally misspoke the line. In the episode, he said, "How did you know those two were coming?" But the script actually says, "How did those two know we were coming?" And then KITT says, "Does that mean you suspect me?" Like he's like worried that Michael's going to find out that he's been reprogrammed. But so just a neat little sidebar there on this scene and how a line that was misspoken by Hasselhoff actually made it into the episode. All right, so back to this scene after the shack is destroyed. You can see Matt McComb laying there in the rubble. But as a kid, I don't know why I ever thought this, but now I'm going to share it with you so you'll think this every time. When you see KITT driving away, you see a limo getting towed right here. And I always, for some reason, as a kid, thought, why are they towing Devin's limousine away? Because it looks just like his. All right, anyways. All right, so we've got another rare occasion when Michael's comlink is broken or destroyed or whatever. We've seen it in The Final Verdict, in Nightmares. We'll see it again in Voodoo Night. So another comlink bites the dust. All right, so Michael is investigating Barrio's warehouse, electronics warehouse, which I think is this building right here. It's hard to tell. There's no real good views, but we have the call sheets, and it lists one of these buildings as Barrio's electronics shop. Hard to tell. It's at night, and you don't really get a good view of it. But anyways, back here, just interesting details, right? That they actually wrote Barrio Electronics on some of these boxes. So the set designer did some good work here. A lot of the boxes say Barrio Electronics, which I think is pretty neat. All right, so just like in Santa Roses, if you have a blink and you miss it moment of Devin's Mercedes right here, right? Because Devin is in the convention center and there's his Mercedes parked there. So again, even though it's not prominently featured, they did a good job by placing these elements there to make it seem like, this was legit happening. All right, so this is what I was talking about, the camera operator from the blueprints I showed you. That's the camera, and I bet on the side of it, it has that logo on it that we were talking about. All right, so for the final climax scene here, we switch between two KITTs, and they're real easy to tell apart. So if KITT's driving by himself, especially in the fourth season, it's either the left-hand blind drive car or the right-hand blind drive car. This is the left-hand blind drive car. It's got the season 4 angular rubber front nose on it, and then it intercuts quite a bit with the right-hand blind drive car here, which has the earlier style nose on it. Also note, here it's still mostly daylight, even though RC's got his light on. But by the time they filmed this, it was really at dusk. It was starting to get to be dusk here. All right, his fuse box. Pull the red fuse, right? So let's pull the red fuse. Michael pulls it out, and that's not a red fuse. I don't know what he pulled out there, and he does not have his comlink on. Once again, he's wearing a fake comlink. All right, so here's that other sign from the blueprints that we were showing you. That's the final piece that they actually used in the episode. Pretty cool. And then, of course, the electronics exposition sign for the podium that we showed you the blueprints for. Also, it looks like the E is falling off, though, right? Oh, well. So in the original script, whenever KITT busts through and Michael stops him just in the nick of time, KITT was originally stopped so close to Devin and Dr. Albert in the convention center that his front bumper tapped the podium and knocked it over. That detail doesn't make it into the episode, but a line at the end of this episode has KITT saying, "To think I introduced myself to the man who designed my systems by toppling his podium." So a nice little connection there to something that was supposed to be filmed but wasn't. All right, so here's KITT getting ready to bust through. You can clearly tell this is a fake door, right, with that candy glass in it. Obviously, they removed the real doors and put these fake ones up so KITT could crash through it. We have some really cool home footage that Jack Gill gave us many moons ago, raw footage of this scene that we'll show you right now. I think you'll get a kick out of it. All right, so back to this, and you can also clearly see from this angle, like, look how clear the trees are here, and look how distorted everything is here, because again, this is candy glass, it's not real. And Jack Gill coming up, and you can tell this is not Devin, and that's probably not the guy who played Dr. Albert, but this is the scene where KITT was supposed to topple his podium. All right, another rare occasion where RC's in the passenger seat. Maybe it's not that rare. It keeps happening. But so Michael and KITT, they've already activated Super Pursuit Mode, driven quite a bit ways away, deactivated Super Pursuit Mode, and now if you look in the background, you can see the semi. In reality, they are still filming in the parking lot of the convention center. So that's movie magic for you. All right, so this is what I was talking about earlier. This is the actual coach van that they're using for filming. But if you look on the inside, there is clearly an interior there, right? I mean, you've got all the panels, everything. So either they recreated this on a set, or maybe that side of the bus has a big opening, a door that opens so they could get the camera in and film. I don't know. But clearly that interior was in the actual truck, which is really neat and kind of rare, I would think. All right, so here's what I was talking about. You look in the background, this is Chaffee's drawing for the redesigned overhead console for Season 3. Right there. Actually looks like they have it taped on the wall, which is kind of weird. And then we zoom ahead, and you get a blink and you miss it. This is Chaffee's design for the redesigned voice box for Season 3 and 4. It's just the cutout. This is the dash, right? And he didn't put any of the speedo or tack. So it's just the dash and the countdown and the voice box right there. And again, taped on the wall. Weird. And whoever's the stunt guy for Harvey Jason, I love the high forehead here, right? Clearly not Harvey Jason. All right, and like we said, we end the episode. Michael is still wearing the same clothes from the beginning, so he had a rough 2 days. But thankfully, and unsurprisingly, it all worked out in the end. Whew, okay, well that's all I've got for Killer KITT. Lots of interesting stuff here. Like I said, one of my favorite episodes. So next up, we're going to cover an episode that is actually filmed very early in Season 4, but held back till mid-season, Out of the Woods. All right, guys, we are rapidly approaching the end of our commentary series, so we've got a few more episodes to go. Hopefully you'll stick with us. Thanks again for watching. We will catch you next time.